Okay, Baruch Hashem, we have reached the point where we're holding by the last chapter of Sefer Derech Hashem. After Mizat Hashem we finish, we're going to cover another portion of this book called Ma'amar HaIkarim, which covers various ideas very briefly. We're holding in the part that deals with the Avodat Hashem, the service of Hashem, and we said in the past few weeks that the service of Hashem occurs in various areas in one's life. It's a very important part for a Jew, as the Rabbi tells in Pirkei Avot. The world stands on three things: Torah, Avodah, Gemilut Hasadim. Torah is the learning that we do. Not only do we become knowledgeable, we need to know how to perform the mitzvot. So we need to learn halachot, which is part of the Torah. Torah gives us guidance. And it's a mitzvah to learn Torah. Because through the Torah we develop a kesher with Borei Olam, the Almighty. We stay in touch with Him. We are constantly aware of what He expects of us. The Jew cannot be without the Torah. Torah, that's why many times it's compared to water. To be without water. No. Avodah is the service of Hashem. We don't only work for a living. We don't only work for physical survival. Avodah is in order that we have a spiritual survival. In order that we do not lose ourselves in this world and think for a moment that we're here just to have a good time. Or for those who are struggling, who just struggle, work hard. Baruch Hashem, we have the Shabbat. Can you imagine if we have 3 days of Shabbat? It would be even better, no? Who needs to work that hard? So we're very grateful that we have Shabbat. And we should be as grateful for the other mitzvot too. We just don't always see the benefit of the mitzvot that we perform. But Shabbat is an obvious benefit once you experiment with it, once you have the experience. So Avodah, the service of Hashem, is to build that kesher even stronger, not just by learning the Torah, but by actually performing the mitzvot. The kind of we had at the Mikdash, there was korbanot, sacrifices, which of course, together with coming to the Bet HaMikdash, was a tremendous big experience. It allowed us, the korbanot allowed us a way of changing our ways, correcting our deeds, doing teshuvah, amending what we did wrong. Today that we don't have the korbanot, we have instead the tefillah. So the tefillah is called Avodat Hashem. That is the essence of the Avodah. All the mitzvot we explained in the past are in a sense Avodat Hashem. But the one that represents the Avodah the most is the tefillah. The tefillah is not easy, even though it appears to be easy because all you do is read words. In reality, if we want the tefillah to be effective, it has to be constant, 3 times a day. It should be done with kavanah. One needs to be clean at the time, physically clean. One has to have clean thoughts, not to be distracted by other things. And the more one prepares himself for that special moment called tefillah, his communication with Hashem has no barriers. It's able to go through smoothly. The malachim that are appointed and assigned to take the tefillah, take it without any problem. It doesn't stay behind. But tefillah has a tremendous power, and it's a tremendous opportunity for the Jew to communicate with Hashem. And if he does it with an inyan, the more people are present. If he does it in a knesset, more kedusha, obviously it's more effective. And on top of all of that, he also cries his heart out. Every father, when he sees his little child crying to him, he becomes compassionate. I mean, even though the child misbehaves, did something wrong, as soon as he sees the tears, and he knows that those are not alligator tears, sincere tears, then he listens. That is the whole idea of tefillah. Then we have Gemilut Hasadim, which is obviously the interaction between man and his fellow Jew, or even Goy. To be kind to others, one needs to relate to others. Tremendous amount of the Torah is based on chesed, based on mitzvot and adam v'chavero, commandments that are between man and his fellow Jew, not just between man and God, like tefillin, Shabbat, that's between us and Hashem. But there's mitzvot and adam v'chavero that are also very important. And in order for people to coexist normally, it can't be cheating or stealing or lying or swearing falsely. All these things that we call mishpatim are very, very important. But the world needs these 3 areas. So now we're talking about the various types of avodot, the various types of services. We said that some of them apply once a year, like the holidays. Some of them apply 52 times a year, like Shabbat. They all have different levels, various levels of kedusha and importance, and they all have an effect on us. It's not just to remember something in the past, for example, the holiday. When we do things properly, we are bringing down the light that existed back then, a special spiritual light that in some ways illuminates us or helps us in a spiritual way. For example, if Hashem made miracles back then, during that time of the year, that moment, that day is more propitious for miracles, because that time the miracles occurred, they may occur here too. They may occur now too. That is what the rabbis tell us. Benisan nigalu, Benisan atidin negael. Nisan was the redemption. So Nisan, this month, Nisan, today is Rosh Chodesh. Today was Rosh Chodesh, right? is a propitious month for Geulah. Mashiach can come. Hashem? Yeah, Hashem. We have to ask for it. So we have to ask for it the whole year. But this month is more Mesubah because of the Ha'ara, because of that light that came down once, comes down now. Especially if we do what the Torah instructed us to do during this time, and that, makes that life even more powerful. So we spoke about the various mitzvot and tikkunim that are accomplished, including mitzvot that came about after the Torah was sealed, like Hanukkah and Purim. Right? These are two of various other minhagim, even though these two are not minhagim, they're holidays, that we have by rabbinic decree. So we spoke about the Arba Minim, we spoke about Chag HaSukkot, we spoke about Pesach, we spoke about Chametz, Matzah, and the Ananei HaKavod of Sukkot. What's the idea, what tikkun happens in Hanukkah and Purim, which came about later? Hanukkah represents the restoration or the inauguration of the Avodah of Hashem, Avodah Beit HaMikdash. The Greeks did not allow us to work, in other words, to do the mitzvot of Hashem. They decreed various decrees and attempted to abolish many of the mitzvot, like Shabbat, the Avodah Beit HaMikdash. So when we liberated ourselves from them, what the story of Hanukkah is all about, we did not kick them out of the land. We, for the most part, were able to restore, we succeeded to restore the service, the Avodah Beit HaMikdash, and that was the greatest simcha of all. The Greeks continued to maintain a certain influence over that land, of the Israel, for a while. So what are we celebrating, and what are we accomplishing with the menorah and with everything we do on Hanukkah? Is to not only thank Borei Olam for what happened then, but also to remind us of the significance of what we fought for. We didn't fight to physically be liberated from the Greeks, but to restore the Avodah in the Beit HaMikdash. That was very important to us. That was more important than anything else. We were willing to continue to be under the Greeks as long as we had them. Imagine, you would understand, if in 1940, 42, 43, if the British would say, you know what, we're not going to play favoritism. We're not going to be better for the Arabs. We're going to be fair. We're going to allow you to do what you need to do. To practice Judaism. We will make sure the Arabs don't bother you. Right? You will be able to conduct your lives normally. You want to have more immigrants come to Israel. Instead of Gamur, okay, we will allow it. Everybody would have been happy. Just about everybody would have accepted it. Okay, you're allowing all the immigrants. You are letting me practice my religion. You are not allowing the enemy to bother me or to attack me. You're not going to show any favoritism or give me ammunition. The British were welcome. They were okay. They were okay for as long as they didn't show favoritism and they didn't cause trouble to the Jews. What's the big deal to be under somebody else? Right? The biggest problem of being under someone else, the real galut, is not being in another land so much as being subjected to another culture and to be restricted in your movement, not being able to practice your religion. That is what happened in communist Russia. In many countries, they went after our religion much more than after our physical body. They went also after our physical bodies too, but the worst part is the religion, because when we go after our religion, there are many people who are weak, who don't have strong roots, and they fall. They assimilate. That was always the greatest danger. Because the physical danger, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ya'azor. He promised us that He will protect us as much as possible. That's His responsibility. We cannot protect ourselves today. Hashem promised. Can Am Yisrael do anything today if the whole world attacks it? Chaz v'shalom? The whole world. We're a small nation. How come it hasn't happened yet? Because Hashem doesn't allow it to happen. That's all. How could one sheep survive 70 wolves? Not because the sheep is strong and smart. It's the shepherd that's protecting it. That is the secret of our survival. The same way it is with Hanukkah. Kadosh Baruch Hu made tremendous miracles that the few were able to defeat the many. But that was not what we celebrate. You don't see people carrying swords in Hanukkah. Maccabim, we won, we defeated the Greeks. On the contrary, what do we emphasize on Hanukkah? Just the Hanukkah, just the lights. It lasted, a little bit of oil lasted for 8 days. That was the miracle. Kadosh Baruch Hu approved of what we did. What did we do? We fought for the sake of Hashem. We fought for the kavod of Hashem, for the avodah of the Beit HaMikdash. That is what we fought for. That is what we cared about. That is what Hashem wanted to care about. So if Am Yisrael is attacked by many, many nations and is physically threatened, Hashem will protect us, as He has. But to protect us from our spiritual heritage, that we have to do. That's our responsibility. That Hashem cannot help. Hashem, of course, assists us on condition that we first show initiative. we take the initiative, like the Maccabi do it, then Hashem goes in and completes the picture and lets us triumph, lets us win. And that's what we did in Hanukkah. So, in lighting the Hanukkah, obviously there's great importance for what it represents, and it's a strengthening of the Ha'ara, the light that existed then, exists now, like we say, and it gives us back the koach to be able to serve Hashem. That is what is represented in Hanukkah. What about Purim? Purim is also similar, that we were able to defeat the plot of our enemies, but most people forget that that's not really the most important thing that happened in Purim. It's very important. Am Yisrael was physically threatened. What other major event happened in Purim? The rabbis tell us, Hazru v'kiblu et Torah. They said on Har Sinai, they said, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will listen, we will follow. In the meantime, they slacked off. They were weaker. This was right after the Qurban by Tishon, after the destruction of the first temple. So they weaker came back, and they reaccepted the Torah, and this time it was with Ahava, not out of fear. Oh, we heard Hashem, we have no choice. Right? In Har Sinai, it was like, you better do it. It's obvious, you just heard it and saw it. Now, they're no longer in Har Sinai. Nevertheless, they realized their mistakes, they realized how far they've been removed from the Yadut, from Judaism. They went back, accepted it on themselves again, the Torah, the Ahava. So that point of reaccepting the Torah is really the strength or the essence of this holiday of Purim. And of course, by celebrating the holiday properly, with all the instructions of Mishloach Manot Lishnereut, sending gifts, we can tzedakah le'etmatanot le'evyonim, with everything that we do, we are metaken. We're doing a tremendous tikkun for that time of the year, which is a tikkun that has something to do with the acceptance of the reacceptance of the Torah. Just like they did then, the hara, the light of then, is reintroduced now and affects us in the same way on condition that we do everything properly. One is supposed to work on that day of Purim, doesn't do anything, doesn't read the Megillah, doesn't do anything, that he loses the whole effect. There's some effect, something happening on that day that's connected to what happened back then. But in order for it to take effect, one needs to participate fully. Then he's able to enjoy whatever that effect does to him and or to his children. The next one is shofar. Shofar is a very, very unique halacha, minhag, whatever you want to call it. It's much more than a minhag. It's exactly, the Torah tells us to blow the shofar. But there's other things that we do in Rosh Hashanah that are minhagim. It's a very special day. Many things happen on this day. But what is the essence of this day? It's Yom Hadin. Once a year that the Kadosh Baruch Hu judges the entire world, the entire creation. And what does judgment mean? It means Midat Hadin. Midat Hadin means that the attribute of judgment is strict. This is what was done. This is what needs to be done to compensate, to fix, or to take care of this Amun. Din means, this is what you did, this is what you did. Right? That's Yom Hadin. The Yom Hadin, Hashem is judging. What did you do? And now I have to see what I have to give you for that. Comes along the shofar, and it's very instrumental in doing what? In being me'ored midat harachamim. In awakening something called midat harachamim, the attribute of mercy. Hashem created a system. The system has been judgment, but he also had to make it that it would be possible to ask for forgiveness, to change the din. Otherwise nobody would survive. If you made a mistake, that's it. There's something called rachamim, mercy. Hashem says, you know what? I will give you something to use on Rosh Hashanah. You wake up rachamim. Because there's din right now. And who comes when there's a din? Satan, right? To be mekatreg, to abuse the Jews. Yeah. We have a shofar, Hashem says, you know what, I'm going to give you a tool. Use it. On this day, because this is a very special day, this is the day of din, that's when I want you to use the shofar to be me'oreh rachamim. How does it work? Hashem put it into the system. Hashem made the whole system of din. He had to also make a system for rachamim. And he gave us a tool to get that rachamim. What is that tool? The shofar. What does the shofar do? It awakens the rachamim, and once rachamim is awakened, guess what happens? As Satan mitbalbel, the Satan becomes confused. We won't go into that, how that happens, what it means, he gets confused. But that is what we are told, that somehow this shofar causes bilbul, it causes a confusion to the Satan, and he can no longer accuse the individual properly, accuse Am. Because there's a rachamim right now coming up, that's a rachamim, that is trying to balance things out. The Satan is no longer an effective force prosecuted against the Am Yisrael. Rabbis tell us כל המעביר על מידותיו, מעבירים לו הכל בשעה. Whoever is forgiving, he forgives his friends. He doesn't demand. He's not always strict. It's coming to me. Do to me, uma'avir. Ma'avir al midotav means he could really get angry now. He could really demand something, but he doesn't. Obviously, depending on the situation. He controls himself. Kabbalistic says, you know what? Measure for measure. Ani ma'avir al b'sha'echa. I will also overlook. I will also forgive you on your sins. Since you don't demand, I demand this, I want this. You don't insist on your way. Hashem says, you know what? Then I want to insist on my way. See how it works? So this characteristic called ma'avir al midotav, one who is ma'avir, means that he doesn't insist on his midan, his way, and he's getting what he always wants. Hashem ma'avir al tasha'ad. A typical example of this, even though it's a little bit different, is called lifnim mishurat hadin. Let's say Reuven is a rich man. Shimon is not so rich. He's having a hard time economically. And Shimon admits that he owes money to Reuven, but he doesn't pay him because he has an excuse. So if they went to Beit Din, it would be an easy case for the rabbi to say that Reuven he due the money. But Reuven said, you know what? Please, it's okay. I will forgive him. It's a small amount of money anyway. Even though I could use the money too. I have what to do with this money, but I know Shimon, he's not doing so well. And besides the fact, he has a family with children. It's okay. I can live without it. Even though I'm very upset at him because he denied it first. He was trying to use excuses. He didn't say, Reuven, please, I don't have it. He was first denying it or excuses. And I really am upset about it. And I really want to take it to court and get every penny from him. And I will win. It's okay. I mean, mevatel. Who sees this? He says, who mevatel? Reuven himself is that kind of a person that when people owe him, he is forgiving. Then Hashem says, me too. Now I will also forgive him. One has to be very careful to be forgiving, depending on the circumstances, of course, depending on situations. Some situations you have to resolve properly. You can't just give in all the time. It all depends on the situation. You can't always forgive everybody for everything. But at least in your heart, you shouldn't be too upset. If you have to pursue it, if you have to go after it in court, you need to do it, of course you do it. But there are some times that you have to use your judgment and say what? Let me give you an example that does not have anything to do with money. When is it easy to forgive? Somebody that does not owe you money, he just insulted you. You say, I'm not forgiving you. Because he did it in public, because he was so shameful, and he had to do it, and whatever the reason. You don't want to forgive him. What does Hashem say? Hashem says, he thinks he's better than me. I forgive, and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, he's better than me, he doesn't want to forgive. What kind of a person is this? It's not a good thing to not forgive someone. Never. Somebody insists on it, especially when it's something that is trivial. And most of the time it is trivial. Just forgive him. We're talking about insults right now. We're not talking about money. Somebody owes you money, and it's a lot of money, then you need to go after it. If he needs more time, and he really needs it, that's a different story. But you have to make sure that in the meantime, he doesn't go to Hawaii, spend thousands of dollars on vacation, when he still owes you money. Then, obviously, you have to go pursue it very seriously. So there are people like that too. They take advantage. So be careful. Even though you're supposed to be forgiven, you have to be careful too, that the people shouldn't take advantage of your tmimut, of your naivet, of your kindness. But the reason I brought up this point of kol ha'ma'avir al-midotav, ma'avirim lo kol kasha'av, is that this midah, in a sense, happens on Rosh Hashanah, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows for the system to forgive. In other words, He put a system in place that is demanding and insisting on din and punishment, but in the same way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ani ma'avir al-kasha'av shelahu, I'm willing to forgive him because he's forgiving to others. In the same way, Hashem made a system that says, you know what, even though there is din, there's also something called rachamim. So nobody should ever give up hope, even though he did many things that are against the Torah, even though it was done for many years. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's in our heart and what's in our mind. He knows under what circumstances we did what we did. If one does teshuvah of all his heart, with all sincerity, Hashem is able to see that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, fine, I can erase it. I can tear the record up. Case is closed. No problem. What is that called in today's language? It's a settlement out of court. Because once they go to court, I insist. No, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm innocent. Yeah, you are? Okay. We have a whole file on it. We have pictures too. And in Hashemayim, the pictures are in color. So we have to be careful. So Hashem says, I'm doing you a favor. So be sincere about it and don't fake it. That's Rosh Hashanah, that's the shofar. He basically finishes up over here with shofar, reminding us that all this power that the shofar has, that Rosh Hashanah allows us to do teshuvah, is on condition that a person does teshuvah. You can blow your horn a whole day. You can cry your heart out, but it's not for real. Hashem knows that this is, you can fool a judge, you can hire a good attorney, and you might get away with it. It appears you get away with it, especially if you have a jury, they like what you're saying, they trust you, whatever. With Hashem you can't bribe, you can't lie. So, this is only effective, this whole shofar, this whole spirit of Rosh Hashanah, is able to work on condition the person does true teshuvah. Otherwise, the day of Yom Kippurim will not be helpful. Because Yom Kippurim is the actual day of atonement, which we're going to see next. So all of this depends on true teshuvah. So what's Yom Kippurim? Yom Kippurim, even though it's connected to Rosh Hashanah, because we have 10 days of teshuvah, which begin with Rosh Hashanah, the day of judgment, and finish with Yom Kippurim, which Hashem atones. Yom Kippurim is unique, that Hashem asks of us not only to do teshuvah, but also to fast. Fast for 24 hours. What is a fast? A fast accomplishes several things. First of all, it makes you desperate. You haven't had food for a while. Not desperate that the day should finish. Desperate, meaning in a sense that you really are supposed to feel what it means to be without food for a couple of hours. Look at me. I'm miserable after a couple of hours without a drink. I didn't have that coffee this morning. You're already having a headache. It's making you miserable, but miserable not in the negative sense. It's supposed to make you humble. Realizing that here, what is a human being? Without a little bit of food or water, he's gone. And when one becomes humble, it's easier for him to do teshuvah. Because when one has a very good, sumptuous meal, he has the food, he has all the luxuries in the world, he's very comfortable. He doesn't think of teshuvah so easy. The ones who do teshuvah are usually poor people, people who are struggling. It's easier for them. It doesn't mean rich people cannot do teshuvah. The nisayon of osher, more difficult than the Sayon of Oni. There are two types of tests in this world. A poor man and a rich man. It's always better to be in the middle. If the poor man's test, I don't wish anybody. Very difficult test. Your wife will be yelling at you. I'm making more money than you. She might say that. Or, if she's not working, the kids are suffering, which will be on your back. It's heartbreaking when a father cannot feed his kids. Where the pride is gone completely, vanishes completely. And he struggles. You may have to ask for handouts. Tremendous bushot, shame. So the ani, yashat kimet, the rabbis tell us. There are several individuals, the rabbis call them dead. They're dead. Even though they're alive, they're like dead. One of them is a poor man. It's a terrible, one of the most difficult yisurim, punishment in this world. To be very poor. The rabbis tell us, nevertheless, this sayon, even though it's yisurim, it's painful, it's not as big as a test as osher. Osher wealth is a more difficult task, even though you're comfortable, you have all what you ever dreamt. For a Jew to be very wealthy and to be religious is not easy. Because a lot of wealth brings one to arrogance, gava. The gava, little by little, makes him forget about the Torah, about his mitzvot, about his responsibilities as a Jew. He starts thinking, so smart, look at all the money I made. I knew when to buy and when to sell. You knew when to buy and when to sell. You knew when to buy and when to sell? Okay, let's see next time around. Let's see what you do next time around. The opposite happened. You bought it when it was $100, and then it went down 20 cents. Where's all that expertise, and where's all that? People who don't learn the lessons, they blame their brokers, of course. Why did you sell me junk bonds? Right? You told me. I told you what I told you. Right? They blame everybody else, right, instead of blaming themselves. Hashem can bring somebody down from the highest position. He wants to teach you a lesson. You, the one that thinks you know what you're doing. I put it into your mouth. You want to tell So what does Yom Kippurim accomplish? Yom Kippurim, by fasting, allows us to disembody ourselves, to disconnect ourselves from materialism, that which is physical. And by doing so, we are able to focus on that which is spiritual, focus on our tachlit, on our main destiny in life. What are we supposed to do? One who has money, who has luxury, who is eating all the time, it's harder for him. It doesn't mean he can't, it's just harder. But Hashem says, you know what, this is the most important day of the year. This is the day that I'm going to forgive you your sins. I want you to do real teshuvah. I want, therefore, to enable you to do it. I gave you the shofar in Rosh Hashanah to be morer darachamim, to awaken rachamim. I'm giving you now the fast for your own benefit. So when you're fasting, it's natek. You disconnect from the physical, and you're able to think a little bit about what teshuvah is. You're able to have the right thoughts. And through the real teshuvah, which is a form of korban, like a sacrifice, you're able to fix what you did wrong. Guys like Yom Kippurim has the cloth of being mechaper, of atoning of sins, certain sins, not all sins. Together with teshuvah. Say properly and does everything that's supposed to do, fasting, doing teshuvah. What he's able to accomplish is sarat ha-choshech, he calls it, removal of darkness, and being able to get closer once again to the Kedusha. What this means is as follows. When a person does not do teshuvah, when he's not doing things properly, when he's just working, sleeping, eating, being occupied with olam hazeh, his ma'asim, his deeds, even though they may not be completely asurim, he's not doing terrible sins, it brings a darkness on him. It clouds his vision. His eyes become dark. What that means is he forgets about his purpose in life. He's so immersed in gashmiyut that he doesn't realize what his real purpose in life is, what he's here for. And he's further and further away from the Kedusha. That is why when people who have been so far removed from Yahudut come and listen to Derasha, or open up a book for the first time and listen to speech, it won't enter or go here or go out here. There's so many layers of fat on their skin that you need a big needle to get through to shake them up. Otherwise, so what's this? I don't believe it. What do you mean you don't believe it? Can't you see how special this is? How meaningful and important? Can't you read the word? The rabbi just said this and this and this. Zelo mezizotam, like we say in Hebrew. It doesn't move them. It doesn't shake them. It doesn't inspire them. Why not? This other person was inspired. That person is closer to the Kedusha, so it speaks to him. It's more sensitive. Talking about sensitivity. For those of you who were in Israel, there was a Yehidah Me'ave Echad. There was a very unique, how do you call it, Yehidah? A combat unit called 101 in Israel. And I once read about it. It was very, very special. Americans associate this Yehidah with Green Berets, SEALs, who are very, very special commando forces. They were volunteers. And how did they train them? They threw them into the forest. Istadru levad. Find your own food. They found snakes and ate them, killed animals by themselves with their bare hands, walked long distances, slept in the cold. What do you think happened to these people after a year of training? Very, very tough. They came home, their wife didn't recognize them. The Torah actually gives us a blessing. Really hamcha, is what I said. When you go out to war, Allah will give you rachamim. What do you mean rachamim? Yeah, because you will lose it. You're so cruel that you may lose it. Don't worry, I will have to give you rachamim to be passionate nation. Because a person can lose his sensitivity. In the same way, a human being can lose his sensitivity when he's exposed to cruelty and the like. The rabbis tell us that is what happens in the world when a human being is exposed to materialism. All day long he works, he talks to goyim, listens to their music. He's so occupied and engrossed and immersed in this olam hazeh, the vanities of this world, that all he gets is choshech. And what this choshech does to him is makes him less sensitive to Dvar Hashem, the word of Hashem. That's what it does. And that's why he can't listen to that. Doesn't speak to him. No influence whatsoever. And you have many people out there trying to tell him, it's very nice, it's cute. Thank you very much. That's it. Nice and cute. Nothing that moves, nothing that shakes you up. Probably, he wants to go to see his girlfriend, or he wants to go to a movie, or he wants to rent a video, or he wants to go fishing, or bowling, or just sit and have a coke, a cigar, or play cards. That's the life of a goy, an empty life. Life of a Jew who's disciplined from the day he's born till the day he passes away, from the moment he wakes up till the moment he goes to sleep. He's surrounded with mitzvot, with his seat, with his talit, with the mezuzah, with the Torah, with the shiurim, with the classes, and his wife also, by sending the kids to Jewish school, by listening to what they learned in school on the Shabbat table, by singing the songs, by having special food, by having guests, by praying. You see, a Jew's life is, if he is mukaf, if he's surrounded with all of that, he's immersed in the Kedusha. If he's immersed in the Kedusha, he sees light. There's no darkness. He sees light. Then he will always remember what he sees for, what Hashem expects of him. If he made a mistake, he will be able to correct it because he will be sensitive to mistakes. Oh no, I just ate something halila taref. What do I do now? He will be sensitive to it. Somebody who's not sensitive won't care. What does that sensitivity or lack of it depend on? How much choshech, how much darkness is in that deep life. Yom Kippurim, therefore, is a very special Derech who gave us to remove that darkness. Through fasting, through being mitvadet, through confessing, through asking Hashem for mechila on the abonot, and by doing it properly with the Teshuvah and Tefillah, and so one is able to accomplish legaresh the choshech of it, get closer to Hashem, get closer to the Kedusha. Okay, the last abodot that we have here are called abodot mikriyim, avodah mikrit v'berachot. But actually, before we go to that, there is one more here, one more item that he discusses, which is really from the time of the Nevi'im, which is also from time to time. It's called Kriyat Torah, the reading of the Torah. We have reading of the Torah Shabbatot, and that reading of the Torah is such that by the time the year is over, we will finish all the parashiyot. Then we have another reading of the Torah on Mondays and Thursdays, right? And on special occasions, Purim, Rosh Chodesh, right? Different kinds of readings. This is something that the Nevi'im gave us, which also brings a light onto us just by reading it. We have a tradition, by the way, that even if you read the Zohar, you don't understand every word. It does something. There's an effect. There's a light out there. So by reading the Torah, whether it's on Shabbatot or whether it's on those special occasions, it brings down the light. Then we have the reading of the Torah, Bizmanim Kruim, which is what we're doing now. We're learning, which allows us to become knowledgeable in understanding what we need to do. So the combination of reading Torah on Shabbat, reading the Torah on special occasions, reading the Torah as we are doing right now, gives us the opportunity to connect with Borei Olam in a very significant way, in the sense that we are becoming knowledgeable in what He wants of us, and we are becoming stronger spiritually. When I say stronger spiritually, is because the Torah not only provides knowledge, it provides simcha. Torah mesamachat. It enlightens us, it makes us happy, it gives us direction. There are many, many benefits from the Torah. So by having the Torah on all these times, it has a tremendous coffin effect. So much so that the rabbis tell us, take your baby that's 2 weeks old in the stroller, in the carriage, and take the baby into the Bet HaMidrash. What for? We're talking about during the weekdays, not on Shabbat, because you can't carry. Why? Because the baby will hear the Torah. What did the baby get from the Torah? Those ears are hearing Torah, they will absorb, something will be absorbed. There's a story of Rabbi Yeshua, the Gemara, and that's what his mother did. And it had an effect when he grew up. They say even plants are affected by the music. Don't play jazz for them, right? Jazz, I don't know if they'll like, but plants are affected by certain types of music. Maybe the music from Nuristan. Very nice music, they're affected by it. Classical music. Plants are affected. So babies too. Babies, even though they can't understand, the neshama hears. The neshama enjoys music. Who do you think benefits from the music? The physical body? No, the body doesn't benefit. Who benefits when you smell something good? The body? No, the neshama. Who's having the benefit? The neshama. The same thing with music. The neshama is affected. Same thing with any kol. Kol sheken, the kol of Torah. The neshama is able to absorb. So even the baby, after the physical body is small, right, nevertheless the neshama absorbs. So by absorbing the Torah through all the different times of the year, through the various occasions, we definitely get something out of it. So we're only left with the various avodot that come about from time to time, including the blessings. So that's what we call avodah mikrit. Avodah mikrit, the occasional avodah, is not regular. It only happens when we eat, when we get dressed, or in our various needs. That does not have to happen every day. We usually do eat every day, but it does not have to happen at regular intervals or regular hours. It happens whenever you decide to buy a new garment. You have to make sure that it doesn't have shatnez. You put it on, depending on your custom, you will say a shehiyano sometimes. You will eat, you will make blessings before you eat and after you eat. And then the various additional blessings, if you hear lightning and thunder, you see a rainbow, right? These are various things that happen intervals, at certain times, not fixed times. And there's avodah of Hashem on those occasions. Through what way? Usually through berachot. But there's other ways too. The rabbis tell us, something as simple as getting dressed. If you don't do it properly, you will get the wrong idea. Well, what does it mean, the wrong idea? What could be wrong with getting dressed? If you don't know what the purpose of the dressing is, you will one of these days decide, I have to buy, Giovanni Vinci? I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. What are you know about what are the $400 suits, $600 suits?
Our money.
How do you know?
You are money.
Yeah? How do you yeah? Anyway, why? The same suit you can buy here for $200, it has a label. Yeah, people are looking for status. I just read an article. Today, everybody has a Lexus, everybody has a Mercedes. It's no big deal anymore, right? Everybody needs cars. Oh, $50,000, right? What's the big deal? What's today's status? If you want to be in style. Status. You know what status is? If you have an armored car. Today, the sign of status is an armored car. What is the purpose of a vehicle? To get you to work. All you need is 4 wheels and a few pistons. To move, you have to put a little bit of fuel also. It won't hurt, right? And the battery has to work, obviously, and you better have some water so you don't overheat, right? A little bit of oil, right? No, gas, I said that. What else? An alternator too. Just a few little things, and you'll get to work. You'll get to wherever you need. 100 years ago, we had horses. That was the purpose of this vehicle. What's the purpose of the code? So we should look normal, not like animals, not naked, right? Like human beings. When one does not metakin, when one does not do something to fix his clothes, he may get the wrong idea. So Rabbi tells us, you know what? Make certain derechot. Make sure you have the right machshava, the right thoughts when you're doing something. Check it out for shatnez. You're doing a mitzvah with this beged now. With this beged, with this garment, you're going to do a mitzvah, you're going to check it out for shatnez. Now you are metakin. You are protecting yourself from the danger of losing yourself, thinking of the wrong ideas of what this is for. And I gave you an example of a levush, but this applies to anything in life. What's a house for? When you put a mezuzah on the door, when you have guests coming over to your house, right? The house will be just a mishkan. You won't need a palace. You'll be happy even if you only have a couple of bedrooms. You won't want to necessarily be in the most expensive block. Because all you need is a comfortable home where your kids are comfortable, where you have room to move, and your wife has a normal kitchen. No, she has to have an island in the middle. Right? Obviously, if a person has a lot if a person has a lot of money, there's something else. But even then, he has to be very careful. Why am I doing this? To serve Hashem. I want a comfortable home so I can have guests over, so I can feed the poor, so I can raise my kids normally, because when a person has a nice home with nice furniture, it's marhiv, it makes him at ease. It's healthy, but as long as he does not forget what the real tachlit of all of this is. So that is why the rabbis gave us berachot, blessings before we eat something and after we eat something. Which blessing is the most important blessing of all? Birkat Hamazon, because that one is the Oraita. What's the essence of Birkat Hamazon? Is to thank Borei Olam after we ate for what he has given us. What is the purpose of thanking him? To remember that it comes from him. Came along the Chachamim and said, you know what? It's not enough just to pray after you ate. It's important to pray before you put it into your mouth. Okay? Before you pray, because before you put it into your mouth, now you're really saying, wait a minute, who gave it this? After you ate it, it's more of a thank you. It's more of a sign of appreciation. You need both. So between the blessing of appreciation afterwards, and between the blessing before, which reminds you where the food comes from, and who gave it, who provides you parnasah, one will continuously be reminded that he is dependent on Borei Olam, he's dependent on Hashem, and he's the one that provides the food, the parnasah. And what is the food all about? What is it for? That's so I can fill my stomach up to survive, so I can continue to serve Hashem. Why do I go to sleep? So I can wake up the next morning and have my energies back. That is why we say Modeh Ani Lefanecha when we get up. That is why we say Kriyat Shema Lamita before. Kriyat Shema has other ideas too. Before we go to sleep, when we wake up, after we go out of the bathroom, our whole life is mukaf with berachot that the Chachamim gave us, just to strengthen our bond with Borei Olam, to remember what the purpose in life is all about. So in order that we do everything for the right tachlit, for the ultimate purpose, we need to make a tikkun to that thing. A tikkun meaning that you have to sanctify it. We sanctify either by making a blessing or by doing something else, depending on what it is. That means the mezuzah on the door. Somebody who builds a house from scratch. How does he sanctify his home? He leaves amma alama that's not painted. He leaves about 18 inches by 18 inches that's not painted somewhere inside the front door of his house. You should remember, I'm building a beautiful home, a new home, brand new, just costing me a few $100,000 or a few $1 million, and Bet HaMikdash is still destroyed. In order for us to preserve that sensitivity, we do something like that. So these ma'asim, these tikkunim, remind us of our real tachlit. Then there is brachot that we do on mitzvot, lechabev aleinu ta mitzvah, so that we should appreciate the mitzvah, and make a bracha, alef ilatullah. What's this? We should realize what the lulav is. So we make the bracha to make something more valuable in our eyes. Okay, and the last point that he makes is that all these achanot, all these preparations, all these tikkunim are quite important. They make a difference. And if one does them properly and regularly, then obviously not only does he sanctify his maasim, he remembers his tachlit, and he's out of danger. As Rabbi Hashem, he's out of danger of getting caught up with all this materialism, because he will stay hopefully on the right derech. However, he reminds us that depending on how much one prepares himself, depending on the koach or the orerut and the achana that a person does, the more a person needs orer, the more a person prepares himself and wakes up to have the proper kavanot, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps him. In other words, the greater a person will become, the more elevated he will become if he does something with more intensity, with more kavanah, with more purpose. Imagine writing a Sefer Torah, a sofer, that's a big job. He has to be very careful with all the mistakes that shouldn't happen. He has to review it, he has to have somebody else review it. You come and see the Sefer Torah and say, beautiful handwriting, no mistakes, never did he need to erase, and you're impressed. But you know what? You may not be able to tell if this is a special Sefer Torah or not. What will make it special? Not the handwriting. It's important that it made beautiful, but more important is what kavanot, what thought man had when he wrote it. Did he go to the mikveh every time he wrote the name of Hashem? And some people would go to the mikveh more often than that. That sanctifies the Sefer. What if he originally, when he went to catch the deer, he already had then the kavanah, I'm going to slaughter this deer so I can feed it with the meat of the deer to the poor, use the skin to write a Sefer Torah, and teach children to do Sefer Torah. That Kedusha is even greater. From the very beginning, he sanctified the mitzvah, he prepared himself. That is what one rabbi did once. And the Yetzer Hara, of course, will try to get in the way when he sees so much Kedusha. And he will bother you, he'll try to interfere with you. But there's no doubt that the more hachana, the more it's orerut, the more koach that mitzvah will have.